Hey folks, welcome to Bear Mountain. This week we wanted to kind of take you on a walk of the good and the bad and the ugly.
Vegetable,
yes, on our vegetable side of things. We have been exceptionally wet for the last 2 months relative to what you would consider being normal. I mean, it's no deluges, where we got like 10 inches of rain, but it's been more about the consistency of it, and the amount over time has kept things wetter and cooler than we would normally have. Usually at this point we would be planting our tomatoes and our sweet potatoes and starting zucchinis in the ground and all this kind of stuff. And we kind of been, today's the 7th of June, and we're been stuck. Looks like we're finally going to get maybe a longer stretch of warmer weather for at least 2 days, because usually our warm weather stretch has been about 1.
I guess if you want to look at it that way, I'm looking at it as starting to rain this Friday. Cool temperatures, high 60s, low 70s again.
Yeah, when we just got finished with a few days where we got at least an inch of rain. And for us, with our heavy clay soil, that kind of keeps things, it's a blessing in a sense that you don't have to irrigate. I mean, it's really weird when you think about last year at this time. We were going through a heat wave. As a matter of fact, the whole Northwest, all the way up into Canada, was experiencing triple-digit heat. And this year we're like, okay, maybe we can break 70 today.
Hey, I personally think this is very comfortable, nice weather. We woke up to really serious fog and it looked like October.
Yeah.
But I like this kind of coolish weather. But yeah, it's going to make growing tomatoes really hard. Really hard.
We'll probably have to do a lot in the tunnel. However, the things that have really benefited from it is we've been harvesting radishes off this thing and hackerite turnips, and we still got more than we need at this point. But now the broccolis are actually, kind of right along on target. We have some good broccoli heads to harvest. And cabbage, although the outer leaves have had a lot of slug damage, and that's just a function of, it's wet. But the insides of them are firming up, and so we're probably going to get some good cabbage heads out of this. Okay, another area of success that's done really well has been lettuce greens. This is a bed that was done in bokashi late last fall, bokashi compost. We finished it in early March. And then we planted greens and a few snow peas that we actually had more snow peas planned for this, but certain cats rolled over and killed some of our plants, which wasn't a good thing. But the lettuce and the spinach, little slug damage on the outer leaves, but we've been starting to harvest off of these guys and they're doing great. So this has been another success, and I guess, a lot of that is cool, wetter weather helped these guys quite a bit. So let's go take a look at the next thing that I'd say is a success. Is notice we're leading off with all the good things because
the good, the bad, and the ugly.
it's not that we don't want to show you the bad. I mean, we're like everybody on the internet. No, everything's great, man. Okay, the peas. These are shelling peas or snap peas. And they're just beginning to fill out. You can kind of see the pod gets a little bit thicker. We'll take some close-up pictures of it. And we're getting some, the pea seeds are still a little bit immature. They're not quite ready yet. So they've probably got about another week, and or if it's even that long.
But we've had some.
But they are sweet. So yeah, fresh peas.
So there looks like a lot of pods there.
Yeah, this is the bush.
As soon as they fill out.
Yeah, the bush. This is a bush type pea, and again, we've kind of kept this protected in a net, and it's kind of pushing on it a bit now. But the whole idea is this would have been deer chow if we hadn't done something. So we've also got some volunteer potatoes growing in here from last year.
More potatoes.
The pea pods are actually edible. All right, this bed here is onions and shallots. We have storage onions on this side, and I'd say these are the guys that have been struggling, has been the storage onions for, I'm not really sure why. Maybe it's just been a little bit too wet for them. The inside growth still looks pretty good, and hopefully, you know, as we dry out in June, these guys will begin to size up. They're probably going to be later harvest than last year too, because last year we were actually pulling these guys out of the ground by probably middle of July, and now I'm wondering if it's going to be maybe a little bit longer than that. We'll just have to see how fast they grow. The shallots, on the other hand, seem to be more robust, and this was we had a couple of different varieties of shallot here. I think one was called Matador, and the other is Ambition. And it looks like the Matador ones are actually more robust than the Ambitions. So, you know, maybe as a test for us, maybe we ought to be a little more heavier on the shallots than the storage onions, because the other thing we found with the shallots too, since they have such a strong onion flavor to them, they actually stored a lot longer than onions. We basically ran through our onions, lost a few. Please, cat, get out of there.
Part of the reason we grow onions is to include them in our pickles.
Yeah. We may have to go with shallots. Try that.
Interesting.
Yep. So, I don't know. You know, some years are good, some years aren't. And cats just drive me nuts. Thank you. So, anywho, this was, I guess, is kind of maybe, hopefully it'll pull out of it. And so I guess we can go take a look at the ugly now.
It was kind of the good, the bad. It's not real bad, but it's not as good as we'd hope. But
Yeah.
now, over your shoulder, we can see the ugly.
Yep. Let's go take a closer look at ugly. No, I'm not me.
No, over your...
Okay, this is the area where we're going to be growing our pumpkins this year. And the daffodils, when they were actually blooming, this area was actually pretty clean, had no grasses or weeds in it. And we've kind of let it go on to nature. This is what's an amazing thing, that we actually had planted a cover crop. I don't know if you guys remember, we did, it was either a short or a regular video on it, about planting, just overseeding it with some crimson clover. Well, unfortunately, when I seeded that, two things I think went wrong here. We had a total crop failure. Okay, so I had some of it come up, but it was quickly devoured by slugs. But the biggest problem that I had, I think, was the seed was too old, so the germination really wasn't that very good at all. And then secondly, the day after or maybe 2 days after I planted it, we had a cold weather event move in, and our nighttime temperatures for about the next 2 weeks hovered right around freezing, or some nights we got down into the low 20s, which was kind of weird for that time of year. Usually that is like something we get in January type thing, so not when we were doing it. What should have happened is we should have been maybe closer to mid 30s to mid 40s at night, no problems at all. But what happened is the germinating clover, when it came up, it just got nailed by that cold weather. And then, you know, at that point we said, well, okay, we've got other things to do on the farm. Normally we don't get this kind of weed growth out here. This all transpired in like the last probably 45 days. But it may look horrible bad, but what we're going to do is we're going to come in here with our the scythe, and we'll cut everything down. And then I've got old rotted hay that we're going to lay down on top. And so within, you know, a few hours of actually cutting all this stuff down, it'll look pretty clean. And then we'll be able to plant into the daffodil beds, etc. We'll put our winter squash out here, as well as ornamental pumpkins like we've done in the past. And it'll produce really well. The ground is still pretty wet, but I think it's going to dry out pretty fast here in the next month. And we've always planted our pumpkins late, and not like other people. Other people, you know, if they're trying to aim for like you know, have pumpkins in a floral market setting by, you know, ornamental pumpkins by, say, like after Labor Day, which is a lot of people try to target for that, you'd want to have had planted your your squash, your pumpkins and stuff probably almost a couple of weeks ago. We typically will get our plants in closer to around the 4th of July, and then our harvest is usually right around the end of September into October itself, and that tends to work out pretty good for us. So
you can see all the daffodils are down.
Yeah, the daffodils are down. And then weirdly enough, I don't know if you can pick that up on the camera over here, somehow, some way, ornithogolems got out here. I have no idea.
We've never planted
We've
them.
never planted them. It's never been anything.
Out here.
Out here, yeah. I mean, we got blackberry, dock, all kinds of, interesting weeds, but, for the most part, and then the occasional stray allium that likes to seed itself. But, for the most part, this is all no-till. So this is what no-till farming looks like.
Also known at this point as the ugly.
This is what seems like weeds is actually a cover crop.
Of some kind.
But once we get working on it, it'll be cleaned up pretty fast. So I'm not going to worry about perennial grasses or anything like that, because we just tend to cover this stuff up and off we go.
I guess though that in the edges, I guess we haven't done a real good job on the perennial grass.
No, but that's okay. I'm not going to sweat it, because like I said, I think with a couple hours of work out here, it's all going to look great.
Which we do anyway.
Yeah. So anyway, we showed you the good, the bad, and the really ugly. So sometimes, with good intentions, inclement weather, and then, getting distracted by other things can definitely get ahead of you.
It throws us off.
Yep. But I'm not going to worry about it.
No.
I'm always happy.
Yep.
So what are your thoughts? Any thoughts?
Cover this ugly up.
Yeah, get rid of this thing, right?
Yeah,
okay. So maybe I should stop filming videos and actually get to work, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So folks, anyway, thanks for watching, and stay safe out there, and we'll catch you on the next video. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.